Whew. Boy, do we got shit to talk about. What's going on, everyone? If you're new here, I'm DivaDadd-e. This is a safe space for diva stans, women wrestling fans, and nobody else. And today, we're going to be talking about the Wwe 2K23 women's roster because it's here in full, in all of its glory, lacking severe melanin. But nonetheless, it's here, and we're going to talk about it. WWE Games kicked off the 2K23 roster reveal last week on Twitter and revealed familiar names that we knew was going to make the cut, such as Bianca Belair, Asuka, Rhea Ripley, and Becky Lynch. We saw all of their models. We saw them in all of the early captured footage. Cute. However, the second reveal, we were going to be in for a gag. In the second reveal, we got the return of Nikki and Brie, the Bella Twins, Hall of Famers, former Divas champions. Get into it. Following the reveal of the Bella Twins, we also got a screenshot as well as 2 full entrances. Now, here are my thoughts on the Bella Twins. Brie Bella, I thought she looked great. Her hair was never too much of an issue for me because Brie's hair has always been a tad shorter than Nikki's. And the bob just looked cute on Brie Bella. Like, the bob, like, really suits her. Her face was on point. I really, really liked the gear choice that they went with her. I even said in my prediction video that Royal Rumble 22 gear is the gear that I would, in fact, like to see from the Bella Twins. So I had no complaints with Brie Bella. The only issue is with the Titantrons. Now, I don't know. These are, like, custom Hall of Fame Titantrons. Personally, I would have preferred to have the Bella Twins or Brie Bella's actual Trons. What can we do? We could easily change them to something that looks more like theirs. Brie, spot on. No complaints with Brie. Then we saw Nikki Bella, and as soon as that screenshot at the back of them was revealed, it was like, world stop. As you can see in the renders, the Bella Twins weren't looking their most current. I'm not too sure where those renders were pictured from, but it was definitely not in the 2020s. So the Bella Twins just having their bob models period caused so much controversy on Twitter, and Twitter was really divided. It was either you lived for the fact that they were the most updated they could be, or you absolutely hated them because, like, this is not a true representation of the Bella Twins. I find myself somewhere in the middle because I do in fact appreciate that they updated the Bella Twins, but it's just that Nikki Bella specifically, I always say, is that Nikki Bella's long hair is who Nikki Bella is. Look at her Divas Championship reign. Look at her past returns, excluding the Royal Rumble. Like, she's always had that long hair. And I just personally think it's going to look funny and a bit odd to have her in classic gears, and then especially if people even go the extra mile as to ombre the little bob to give her like the accurate hair color she had at the time. I just think it's going to be kind of a little awkward. I would hope there would be some kind of like my faction model, give us like vintage Bella Twin models. Like, that's, to me personally, that's like the best case scenario that could happen. But we got updated Bella Twins. Let's just be happy they're back in the franchise, because it's like, it was so odd that they got new motions, new tag entrants, but they weren't included in 2K22 for whatever reason. So moving on to Nikki Bella's model specifically, that also was just released recently, and again, like, mixed reactions from everyone. You have people who think it's like the worst model they've ever seen, and you have people thinking that it's good and that it's gonna look different in Creation Suite compared to her entrance, because those facial expressions, yeah, I think that was the downfall and what caused the most controversy from this Nikki Bella model. It's just the facial expressions weren't giving. Like, her lips were disappearing. It was something with her eyes. It's like, ooh. It's like, ooh, I get where all the complaints and quarrels come from, but if you like actually like sit and like look at the model, like some angles that are captured in the entrance, it's like, this looks good. You can argue and say this is one of Nikki Bella's best models due to how accurate it's captured. But we'll really see when she's in Creation Suite and she's giving. And then also, I will say with the gear too on Nikki Bella, the top kind of looks different. It looks a little rubbery compared to how it's portrayed in person. But as you can see with Bianca Belair, they're not the most accurate when it comes to choosing materials for clothes. So those are the Bella Twins. Glad to have them back. Glad to also see that we got both screenshots as well as both full solo entrances of them. So that's the Bellas. The next reveal we got in the same portion of the roster reveal was Molly Holly. Last time we saw Molly Holly was 2K20, and girl, that was no Molly Holly. I went to go play 2K20 to capture some likenesses just for morphing purposes to, you know, plan for 2K23. And I was checking out Molly's model and I was just like, who is she? I don't know who this girl is. If I saw her walking down the street, I wouldn't know a thing. Sorry to this woman. It's good to see Molly Holly back in the game. The more legends, the merrier, as always in my books. I just hope she has, like, you know, a newer model. Now, I don't know what era they're going to reference. Are they going to reference, like, her render is giving brunette Molly. Her render actually is just giving straight up her what they attempted in 2K20. So we'll see what they give her in this game. Don't think they're going to copy and paste her. That Molly just needs to go. The next reveal we got in this segment was Queen Zelina making her return to WWE games. Now, she came back to the company way too late to be included in 2K22. However, she was listed as DLC in the Saray pack by accident. So I don't know what that was, but that was a thing. Just good to see her back. She's going to be sporting her Queen Zelina gimmick. I feel like that would be considered like her career highlight. So, of course, they would include that in the game. It's not her most current, but it is what it is. She was tag champs. She was the queen of the ring. My only gripe with that is that we can make her Zelina Vega, but it's just, is commentary just going to be like Queen Zelina, the queen? I could just picture them making all kinds of like queen references and everything and royal subjects and all kinds of stuff like that, which is completely not her gimmick anymore, but it is what it is. I just hope that when we dye her hair blonde, those red and black streaks ain't gonna be coming through. So this next reveal came a whole day after, and bitch, I was not ready for this. I was literally on the subway on my way to go watch Avatar: The Way of Water, and this just completely caught me off guard. So in this reveal, the first girl I'm gonna mention is Cora Jade. We've seen Cora Jade. She was in the gameplay trailer that we got 2 weeks ago. She's repping her face look. She has pigtails. You know how I feel about unique hairstyles when a girlie just wears them once on special occasion and then they're stuck with it in game. But it's good to see Cora in the game nonetheless. However, the next two reveals, Nikita Lyons. Now, if you watch my roster predictions, I was like so set on Nikita Lyons being DLC, considering that to me, she is someone that people would be willing to pay extra for, especially because she's like a breakout star on the rise, right? The guys want her, the girls want her, the gays want her, the theys want her. Everyone wants a piece of Nikita Lyons. So now when I saw her included on disc, that was just like, who's left for DLC? I am just super excited to see what she's going to look like, what gears they're going to reference, what her entrance is going to look like, her new mocap moves, her split finisher, her spinning roundhouse kick. Like, it's going to be so crazy. I'm so excited to see what Nikki is going to look like. Now, the next confirmation from this reveal, the current NXT Women's Champion, Roxanne Perez. Mic drop. I was fully, like, Nikita, maybe a slighter chance of making the base game than I thought. Roxanne Perez making base game. That was just something that came in a left field for me. I was not expecting that at all, considering that she debuted like so late into the game of NXT, of the rebranded NXT, and she would be like, considering that she's a brand new NXT Women's Champion, like I feel like she would have been like the poster child for DLC for this game. So considering that we got Cora Jade, Roxanne Perez, Nikita Lyons, it left the community kind of shook and curious about who's going to actually be DLC for this game, which we still don't know, which is still up in the air, which is still being speculated, but we're going to get into that closer to the end of this video. So the next roster reveal portion was focused on legends, and in this section, we got the return of Lita! I'm so happy that Lita's back in WWE games, guys. Like, those last Lita models that we've gotten from what, 2K, was it 16? All the way to 2K20, trenches. I'm just gonna say it all here. That Lita, the face, whatever. The hair, I feel like my biggest gripe with the hair is that it could have been longer, even though her hair wasn't that long. I feel like her hair was longer than what they gave her in the game. Anyways, but that gear, child, the gear. Now I understand that the Trish and Lita in 2K16 was supposed to replicate their main event match in 2004 for the Women's Championship, but the attire choice was so controversial, considering that it was stripped of all of its uniqueness and logos for whatever copyright issues with the designer or whose copyrighted logos were on her pants and stuff. But it was just such a stripped down, bland character. Like, sure, we were happy Lita was in the game, but it's just that motto specifically in the gear. Ugh. The trauma, and the fact that it was copied and pasted for 16, 17, 18, 19, 25 games. Oh! So happy Lita's back, and I'm happy that she's more than likely going to be sporting a new gear. If we're going to measure by, like, other girls that were included, like the Bella Twins, for example, they have their Rumble 22 scan, so maybe we can see Lita's Rumble 22 scan, although, like, out of all of her Legend Return looks, the Evolution one, it just hits different. It's so cute. With the pulled up thong, it's not really a thong, it was kind of looking like a swimsuit thing. An ode to her OG looks like that. It was just chef's kiss. I would like to see that look, but I feel like if they're going to do a modern look, it's definitely going to be like either the one in her render or Rumble 22. So it's whatevs. The next legend that we got in the reveal was Beth Phoenix. And she's another one where she suffered from the same copy and paste for the last, I don't even remember. I think it was 2K18, maybe 2K19. I think it was 2K18. Beth got her little Hall of Fame spot, and ever since then she's been copied and pasted, looking the same in every single game with that white WrestleMania gear. But however, in this game, I do believe she's finally going to be updated, and I think she may look just like her render, or she may look just like Rumble 22 when she faced Maryse, with that updated gear and the sporting the same kind of like faux hawk, mohawk kind of hairstyle. The next woman in this reveal is the ninth wonder of the world herself, Miss China. Now, China, we saw her in some of the gameplay that was released from the 2K creators who got to capture the footage at the press event, and she's copied and pasted. I would have loved to finally see China's WrestleMania purple look. It was such a gorgeous look. The hair, the gear, the headband. Before China gets removed from a WWE game, I would love to see her, at least one more time. Just giving something totally new and fresh. Separate from these Twitter roster reveals we've been getting, WWE Games launched this new Twitch series called the WWE Showdown, where they're going to be holding interviews and just going over all the news and new features of 2K23. And in this edition of the 2K Showdown, former NXT Women's Tag Team Champions and former Toxic Attraction members JC Jane and Gigi Dolan were revealed. Now, I figured they would have been in the game. Toxic Attraction has been running shit on NXT since NXT rebranded into 2.0. It was a given that they were going to be in the game, so I definitely was expecting them. Nonetheless, I'm so excited to see them in. Their leader, however, we're going to be getting into that soon, but definitely that trio entrance. I feel like that trio entrance is staying, and it's going to eat. It's going to eat. Another reveal we got was Zoe Stark. Now, she quote tweeted the NXT reveal about having to shake her ass to get included in a game, and then she recorded a video of her doing it. They finally tweeted out her render announcing her inclusion for the game. And it was just so odd, is like, I was expecting Miss Zoe to be in 2K22, at least as DLC, because she'd been there for a minute and was an NXT Women's Tag Team Champion. Why she didn't make DLC? Neither here nor there. Nice to finally see her included. We love a beefy women's roster. Now, the last little roster reveal that they did revealed Ronda Rousey and Liv Morgan. Like, come on, just like the first reveal they did. Like, we been new, no surprises here. Now, similar to last year's roster reveal, they revealed a couple people on Twitter, and then boom, they just hit us with the full list on WWE2K.com. And they did the exact same this year. So now we're about to get into some things with this full roster list of all the confirmations of who's making base game for WWE 2K23. So in alphabetical order, we get Alba Fire, Alexa Bliss, finally making her WWE Games debut, Aaliyah. Now, Aaliyah's been signed to WWE since 2015. Now, I could understand, like, the first, 3 games that she's been in the company for. Like, I understand her not being included. 2K19, I was like, okay, I feel like she's been prominent on NXT for a minute now. Like, I feel like she would be, a perfect NXT inclusion in the game. She wasn't. 2K20 came along. She wasn't again. 2K22 finally came. Like, now she's done all she could in NXT. At this point, she's on the main roster, but she's not on the main roster long enough to get included as main roster talent in the game. And she still wasn't in the game. But she had a t-shirt in the crowd, which caused a lot of speculation of her finally being included, but she still wasn't. During one of the entrance reveals, I believe it was Brie Bella, someone spotted a Bougie and the Beast crowd sign, and that was Aaliyah and Raquel Rodriguez's tag team name. But of course, people random speculation is like, oh, her t-shirt was in the crowd last year. That doesn't mean really anything. And it didn't help that a fan was talking to and engaging with Aaliyah on Twitter and inquired about her being scanned for 2K23, and she said something along the lines of, sorry to let you down. However, she did delete that tweet, so take that as you may. WWE Games officially confirmed that she finally made the game, and I'm happy. So next we got Asuka, Bayley, Becky Lynch, Beth Phoenix, Bianca Belair, Brie Bella, Carmella, Charlotte Flair, Chyna, Cora Jade, Dakota Kai, Dana Brooke, Doudrop, Gigi Dolan. Next, Indy Hartwell. Now, Indy Hartwell was DLC in 2K22, but for some reason she was kind of teasing this year that she wasn't included. She's like, oh, I'm gonna have fun creating myself, and her replying like a thumbs up to Zoe Starks's mess. I was like, okay, is this girl in the game or is she not? Is she trolling us? Maybe she didn't get scanned again, considering they would just like easily just copy and paste her model. Who knows? But she's finally in the game. Next we have Io Sky, period. We love a name change. We got JC Jane, Katana Chance, DLC in 2K22, name change in this game. Her tag team partner making her debut in WWE games, Kaden Carter. She was another one who had her t-shirt in the crowd in 2K22. Don't know what was up with that. I read somewhere, don't know if it's true, that Vince McMahon didn't want her in the game. Allegedly. It's good to see that she's finally in the game as the NXT Women's Tag Team Champions with Katana Chance. Now, mind you, they're not champions anymore, but we move. Next, we got Lacey Evans, Liv Morgan. I'm just happy she's still in the game. Maurice, I'm just so happy she's still in the game. She's still hanging on to that whatever contract she has, because she's not a full-time talent. Whatever contract she has, it is staying. It is stuck. It is written in stone. My fave keeps making it every year, and I'm so grateful and so happy. Whether she gets a new model, let's talk about that for a second, because The Miz got revealed via screenshot, and he's sporting his SummerSlam 2022 look. Okay, you know who else was affiliated in that SummerSlam 2002 look? Maryse, and she was wearing the green jacket, the leotard, the Louboutin heels, giving long blonde hair parted in the middle, which led me to speculate, are we going to be getting a new Maryse manager model? Who knows? I would love to see that though. In a perfect world, we would get a brand new Maryse manager model as well as a brand new Maryse wrestling model sporting her Rumble 2002 look. Moving on, we got Molly Holly, Natalya, now Nikki ASH. Now, it's kind of upsetting that we didn't get Nikki Cross. Maybe they'll have two models similar to what they did in 2K22. But Nikki ASH, like, I was never living for that gimmick. Everyone has their own taste and opinion about it. I assume she's just going to be like evil Nikki ASH, considering that was the most recent Nikki ASH, wearing all black and gold or black and silver or whatever she'd been wearing. Next, we got Nikki Bella, Nikita Lyons, Queen Zelina, Raquel Rodriguez, Rhea Ripley, Ronda Rousey, Roxanne Perez, making her return, because this girl was released, mind you, after her inclusion in 2K22, and that is Scarlett. I had no idea if she's going to be on disc or DLC, considering that she was brought back after her release, and it was just in a time frame where I was like, ooh, I don't know if she's gonna make it or not. So it's good to see that she's on disc, and she's also a playable character.
Oh, it's okay, Natty.
Now, her trons were included in 2K22, however, she was just a manager, which was kind of bizarre. But I'm happy to finally see Scarlett back in the game. Next, we got Shayna Baszler, then we got Shotzi, Sonya Deville, and making her return back to the game, Stacy Keibler. Now, I just feel like she's just going to be copied and pasted, to be honest, DLC model, which I don't mind. She looked really good. The attire was plain, stay tuned for custom Stacey attires. That solves that. Next, we got Stephanie McMahon, Trish Stratus. Trish, I just hope we got a brand new Trish model. Hoping. Then we got Xia Li. She was DLC in 2K22. And to be honest, it's like that DLC Xia Li model was perfect. It was so perfect to the point where I feel like she would just be copied and pasted in this new game because she hasn't really worn anything different now. She has her hair and braids and whatnot, but for the most part, Xia Li has looked the same for this game's production cycle. So we'll see what she's gonna be looking like. And then we got Zoe Stark, and we also got Lita too. She just wasn't included in this list. By the way, this graphic brought to you by The Revolution. Thank you so much for putting it together and getting all the girlies on one page. So now that we covered everyone who's on the 2K23 base game, it's time to cover everyone who got removed. Now we know names like Billy Kay, Mickey James, Nia Jax, Lana, Tegan Knox, Mia Yim. Half of them were released so long ago. The other half of them were brought back way too soon to be included on base game. Understandable, but the face crack omissions from this game, the face crack removals from this game. Sasha Banks. I feel like Sasha Banks was the most likely to be removed, considering that her contract status and her status with WWE was more out in the open. Babes, she's like on completely different wrestling shows now and doing her own thing. And it was said that she was negotiated out of her contract over the summer, and that was more than enough time to be removed from the game. So sad to see such a legendary women's wrestler removed from the game, but it was kind of expected, unfortunately. Sasha Banks, we're going to miss you. Hello, Mercedes Moné. Stay tuned for all of the cause for Mercedes Moné, because I feel like she's going to be like the most downloaded woman on this game. Next, Naomi. It's so unfortunate that Naomi was also removed. Her stuff and her situation has been the most quiet. I feel like we didn't really know where she stood. She's not in the alumni section, WWE.com, but she's also nowhere to be found on WWE programming either. We don't know what she's really up to. So it's unfortunate that she got removed as well. We're going to miss Naomi so much. Like, she's been in the game since 2K15. And now the removal that had me like, whoa. Mandy Rose. Whoa, okay. I thought Mandy Rose left too late to be taken out of the game. They really like yanked the bitch out. They dragged her file to the trash bin so fast. Now, apparently there was rumors going around saying that she didn't want her likeness to be in the game, so she's the one that enforced the removal of her character. Don't know. Like, I was set on Mandy being the default NXT Women's Champion and Roxanne Perez being DLC, but that's clearly not the case. Like, Mandy's gone and Roxanne's gonna be the default Women's Champion. Like, I feel like that's the most current we've ever gotten to champions in the new game. So Sasha Banks, Naomi, Mandy Rose, we're gonna miss you girls. It's been a long day without you, my friend. And I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. So that is the 2K23 women's base game roster. And that just leaves us like so much speculation as to who's actually going to make DLC. Is it going to be NXT talent? Is it going to be NXT UK talent that has moved over to NXT, such as Isla Dawn, Blair Davenport, Lyra Valkyria, Tiffany Stratton from NXT, the returned girlies for DLC, Mia Yim, Candice LeRae, B-Fab, Emma. Are they gonna go the extra limb and give us DLC women's legends? Tori Wilson, Michelle McCool, Melina, Victoria? It's all up in the air. I'm excited. It's like, I feel like this year DLC it's looking pretty women heavy. Like, there's a lot of contenders for DLC. That's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments below who you're most excited to play as in 2K23, and comment below who you would like to see as DLC. Don't forget to leave a like on the video, subscribe, turn on post notifications for more 2K23 women's content. Make sure to follow me on Twitter at DivaDadd-e. That's where I post my creation content. That's where I live see wrestling shows. That's where I talk my shit. So don't forget to follow me on there. DivaDadd-e out.